Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. In the recent event of Steel Curtain being revealed as the next coaster for Kennywood's lineup, I wanted to talk about the likelihood of any coasters like this being built in the next couple years. Now, of course, we won't really know exactly if this coaster will be a complete success yet until it fully opens, and really it depends on how smooth this ride is. If it is smooth as butter, you bet it will be a major success. Now, S&S, who actually made the ride, or at least licensed it as their own making, bought out Vekoma a couple months back, and I noticed that the track for this ride looks oddly close to Vekoma track. At least the new gen Vekoma track that we've been seeing on the likes of Let Coaster and the proposed Hyper for Energylandia that got beat out by the Intamin, which is now Hyperion. S&S hasn't used this type of track before on any of their coasters, and it makes me really interested to see if it was actually a Vekoma design that they took once they bought out the company. Now, the last coaster that S&S was able to produce was Merlin's Mayhem, which actually ended up being delayed by a full year due to issues, and before that, the last coaster they created was Gale Force, which had to be completely retracked after only about a year of operation. Now, that track design was completely different compared to this track design, and it looked more like a Eurofighter or an Infinity coaster, or maybe even a Mack Rides coaster with the type of track design it had. Now, you may argue that Merlin's Mayhem has the similar type of track, but it's only inverted. Now, you're right there, but the elements that this track is pulling and this coaster is going to be doing really makes me think that they're using a lot of Vekoma inspired designs. That first drop really reminds me of the first drop on Let Coaster, with its weird twisting and completely bizarre looking profiling, but it definitely reminds me of that. And Let Coaster has been getting rave reviews, at least in the enthusiast community that I've been hearing, so it really makes me interested to see if Vekoma is going to become a major manufacturer in the coaster industry in the next couple years, at least that is majorly liked. Now, yes, this ride is being marketed as an S&S, and it might actually be an S&S design, but it's not fully known if it truly is. Maybe S&S is completely engulfing all of Vekoma and just becoming one coaster company, if that makes any sense. And it wouldn't completely surprise me if this happens. They kind of did that with Aero, and now nothing is made by Aero, but things are made by S&S with the same type of design, like the 4D coasters over in Japan and China that were completely based off of an Aero design for X2, or at the time, X. So it wouldn't completely surprise me if Vekoma and S&S had just become S&S as a company for manufacturing coasters. Now, to add on to Let Coaster, it was obscenely cheap, under $10 million. Yeah, that's right, a world-class coaster for under $10 million that wasn't a Raptor or an RMC conversion. That is mind-blowing stuff right there. The fact that we can get something considered so good that it could beat out something that could have won a golden ticket 15 or 20 years ago for a fraction of the price. And if this is using the same type of pricing system, could Steel Curtain be actually a cheaper investment than we thought? The price hasn't been exactly uncovered by Kennywood or S&S, so maybe this thing is actually under $20 million, which would be kind of crazy to think about. Now, the entire area renovation of Steelers Country is definitely not under $20 million. It's probably more than that, but the coaster itself, I'm guessing, is 15 at the most. $15 million at the most in US dollars, which is actually pretty crazy when you think about it. Something that's 220 feet tall with 9 inversions, and the tallest inversion in the world with that, so the support structure is kind of crazy looking, as you can see from these pictures and all this. I just can't believe how cheap this coaster could be if it's using the same type of pricing that Vekoma coasters were using in the past couple of years. Now this really opens up the possibility for more of these coasters being built in the US and around the world in the next couple of years if it is a successful and smooth ride, and if it opens up on time and doesn't have too many maintenance issues. Even if it has some maintenance issues that aren't major, this thing could be a major success, and you could see coasters of this type all around the globe in the next couple of years. And if I didn't know about a Mack coming to California, I would actually put my money on an S&S coaster just like this coming to Magic Mountain in the next couple of years. But since we do know about a Mack coming to California for about $20 million, it's kind of completely ruined my thought on having something like this in Magic Mountain, and I definitely think it's going to be a Mack regardless. But if this was before that news had come out, I would have definitely put my money on something like Steel Curtain at Magic Mountain. This ride has completely blown me away with how it looks, ride-wise, and even color scheme-wise. The more I look at it, the better and better it looks, even though it's completely insane with its support structure work and its track work itself, because it just goes everywhere and doesn't really follow any rules, which is something we're seeing a lot more in the coaster community today. But I definitely think if this ride succeeds in the first couple of months, there will definitely be more of these on the way. Heck, there might already be some orders put in for more of these across the US and the world. You never know. It wouldn't surprise me if possibly a Six Flags park was interested in buying one of these. Whereas I don't know if Cedar Fair would be willing enough to pull the trigger on something like this, and maybe they just stick with going with a Mack or something like that, because we know they're getting a Mack for Carowinds next year, so maybe they've made a deal with Mack as well. Six Flags might have too, but I don't know. For some reason I could see a coaster type like this going to a Six Flags park way more than I see it going to a Cedar Fair park. But this thing is just complete bonkers, and I can't wait to see it in real life if I ever get to go to Kennywood, and I can't wait to see footage of it from opening day and the next coming weeks afterwards. And it's just, it's really making me excited for next year, and I can't wait for the other announcements that are coming out in the next couple of months. And I really truly think that more of these types of models are going to be on the way, and S&S is probably going to become one of the elite manufacturers if these are as good as they look. And I'm really excited to see maybe a Coaster Wars 2.0 starting to sprout up. I know we've already kind of had one in the past couple of years starting to revitalize itself and be reborn, but you never know. It could be Coaster Wars 2 in the 2020s. Yeah, I'm really excited for the next couple of years in the amusement and theme park industry, and this ride is just the tip of the iceberg right now. So thank you guys for joining us and watching, and make sure to subscribe to us for more of this stuff, because we are actually going to hopefully have some coverage from Kennywood's opening day for Steel Curtain, and also we will have tons of footage for Magic Mountain and its coming coaster in the next couple of months. So just stick around and make sure to tell us what you think maybe the cost is for this coaster, and also what parks could be possibly getting a coaster like this, and how many do you think will be built in the next 5 years. But as always, thank you for watching so much. It means a lot to us. And of course, as always, we'll see you on the next ride.